Hi, this is Mr. Bledsoe, and in this video I'm going to show you how to factor the sum of two numbers using the distributive property. So remember, the distributive property is usually written like this: A times B plus C equals A times B plus A times C. And typically when we use the distributive property, we're going in this direction. That is, we're multiplying a number A times the sum of two other numbers, B and C. Well, when factoring, we're using the distributive property, but we're going in the other direction, which means we're going to start with the sum of two numbers, and we want to write them in the form A times B plus C. So here's a sum of two numbers, 28 plus 36. And I would like to factor them, which is to say, I'd like to use the distributive property to undistribute this sum, or to rewrite this sum in the form A times B plus C. So in order to rewrite this sum in the form A times B plus C, I'm going to need a common factor that I can factor out of each number that's going to be my A number. Now, notice that since both of these two numbers, 28 and 36, are even, I know that 2 is a common factor. So I could rewrite my expression like this. 28 plus 36 equals 2 times 14 plus 2 times 18. And then I could undistribute, and I could write 2, my common factor, times 14 plus 18. And I could then say I have now factored 28 plus 36 into 2 times 14 plus 18. And that would be true, but it would also be incomplete. And it would be incomplete because while 2 is a common factor of 28 and 36, it's not the greatest common factor. And in order to factor the sum of two numbers completely, I need to factor out the greatest common factor. Well, I know how to find the greatest common factor of two numbers. I use factor trees. So let's find the greatest common factor of 28 and 36. Okay, so 28 I can break down into 2 times 14, and then 14 into 2 times 7. 36 I can break down into, let's see, 2 times 18, and then 18 into 2 times 9, and 9 into 3 times 3. Okay, so now I have the common factors of 28, or rather the prime factorization of 28 is 2 times 2 times 7. Prime factorization of 36 is 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. And I can see that my common factors are, I've got a common factors of 2, common factors of 2. So my GCF, greatest common factor, is going to be 2 times 2, which is 4. Okay, so let's mark this factorization that we did here. We're going to say that's not wrong, just incomplete. And let's go back and use our greatest common factor now to factor our expression completely. So 28 plus 36. Now that I know what my greatest common factor is, 4, I can use the distributive property now to factor the sum of two numbers like this. So 28 plus 36 equals 4 times 7 plus 4 times 9. And I can write that as 4 times 7 plus 9. And now I've just used the distributive property and also factor trees and the greatest common factor to factor the sum of two numbers.